Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. How are you tonight? How fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, keep that amazing energy going. Woo! Cheer! Go nuts for your wonderful Luke Benson! How we doing? Is everyone all right? Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Downstairs, you okay? Yeah, brilliant. Well done. You've got a spokesman. Excellent. Up the back is all right? Fucking excellent. That's how you answer the question as a group. Are you doing all right downstairs? Much better. Well done. Right. It's lovely to be here. My name's Luke. I'll just get out of the way before we kick on properly. I am enormous. Right? Just so you know that I know. I'm quite aware. I don't need you lot looking at me going, he's a fucking big cunt. Doesn't fucking realise. I'm 6'7", right? It's about 2 meters. So during the age of COVID, I knew that I had to be a me away from me at all times. It's good height, quite an odd-looking bloke. 6'7", 7'3" wingspan. There's only really two things I could be with these dimensions. One is an NBA wing defender. The other is a desert scavenger bird. Other thing that I would accept are those inflatable bodies you see at used car showrooms. It's good, right? Arms built for selfies. Quite an odd-looking bloke, right? I feel like I've got the head of a 12-year-old on top of something that should be defending a village. That's what I've got, right? I've just had quite an aggressive haircut recently. I feel I look a little bit like a live-action Tintin. Very tired, right? I'm staying in this Airbnb. I've never stayed somewhere with so much natural light, right? Like, I've never had to put sunscreen on before going to bed. Slip, slap, stop, sleep. Saturdays in the house. It's good, right? I'm in quite a weird place, really, in that I'm tall, but I'm not that tall. I'll be knocking about, and people will go, fucking hell, he's big, isn't he? But they won't go, hide the women and children! Sound the alarm! Ready the archers! Which is what I crave. So I'm quite obsessed with the ideas of gigantism and minimalism. You know, like in my personal life, like in my house, I only drink out of espresso cups. All of the towels are hand towels. And I only eat party foods. I fucking love a vol au vent or a slider. Give me one of your tiny human pies, bastard. This is a litre. Enormous. It's good, right? I'll do my accent as well. I'm from Newcastle in England. That's what this accent is, right? I'm from quite a shit part of Newcastle. It's called Newcastle. And where I'm from, people don't really have big dreams, right? Like, a lot of them think that aspiration is that sweat you get on your crack. Very working class place, full of working class people, right? And I don't know how many people we've got in from, you know, far away lands and stuff like that, but I really hope you're coping okay with my accent, right? And I really hope that you recognise and ideally appreciate that this is me working really hard to speak clearly. No lie, this is me genuinely dialing it the fuck back, cruising in second gear, holding onto the leash of my accent, right? Because I go back home to my little backwater village where I'm from, Seaton Sluice, and they all look at me and go, who the fuck's he trying to be with all these fancy spaces between his words, a daft langy bastard? Which is a compliment. And I've been living out here for 4 years now, right? I live in Melbourne, right? And first 3 years I lived in a beautiful part of Melbourne called Box Hill. It's very oddly tense. Pretty confident I'm the tallest bloke there. And I used to play basketball there, right? And I really felt for the lads from Japan and Thailand and the Philippines who'd be playing basketball with me, speaking English as their fourth or fifth language, while I sound like this. So I would play basketball with them like I was an officer in a World War II film. Just sort of running about going, I'm over here, I'm open. Keep a stiff upper lip, let's go and get those bloody Jerrys. Blitzkrieg on 3. It's great, right? I do. Because generally what we'd do is, when we'd go back, what we'd do is me, my dad and my granddad would go to the Working Men's Club, which is a fantastic name for the institution because nobody there is working. Apart from the woman behind the bar, right? If you don't know what a Working Men's Club is, that's fine. It's basically just an RSL, but without the anti-tank weaponry out front. Like, they didn't think it was a good idea to leave a bunch of drunk Geordies next to 30-foot machine guns. But we'll go watch a Newcastle match. Newcastle generally play shit. That's their primary strategy. My granddad will get up afterwards and he'll say something like, "They came out like a pack of queers." I go, "I think you're fine, Grandad. The collective noun is a pride." But he's about a man's man, right? He fought in World War II, and closest I get to that is in computer games. And the other day I was playing this war game with him, right? I was playing Medal of Honor with my granddad. And he recognised someone. Shot him in the face. I mean, "What the fuck are you doing?" He said, "He's a dick." I said, "He's Allied Forces." He said, "He tried to finger your nana once." It's lovely being out here, right? I live in Melbourne, and we've all done it, right? It's amazing we're able to have this festival and come out in it. We've all sort of bested COVID, do you know what I mean? I feel like we did 6 lockdowns. It's too many, wasn't it? 6 lockdowns, right? Very much followed the police academy curve. Like, the first 3 were all right, but the last 3 were fucking shit, weren't they? No one needs that much bobcat. I feel like everyone went into that first lockdown, you know, like the big one, like it was a second New Year's Day. Everyone went into it full of all of these intentions of self-improvement and development, you know. Everyone went into that first lockdown with an attitude of, "I can and I will." And then after 3 weeks, we all just went, "I will eat from a can." You had to find things to do, right? One of the things that I did was I got into cocktail making. Right, so what I very cleverly did was I turned my drinking problem into a developmental hobby. I should say, right, I've heard a couple of them just in that last sort of minute. Good work. Give me a cheer if you were getting on the cans this evening. I mean, that's definitely more of you, because I've heard fucking 8 cans being opened since I've been on. So I would say, right, good work, mate, well timed. Homie was ready. Good work, right. If you can, be a hero and like open your can during a laugh, right. I'll probably do like that. Ideally, there'll be like a laugh every 15 seconds. So just fucking hang on, cool your jets. Comedy works loads better with like words, 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 silence, laugh, right. If what we are finding is words, 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 silence, sort of fucks it. Just be a hero. It's good, right? I do love being out here. Yeah, I was on about COVID, right? I feel like, really, a lot of people who aligned themselves with that anti-vax, anti-mask movement weren't really aligned with their policies or beliefs. I reckon a lot of people just left their house without a mask and was like, "Oh, fuck, I guess this is me now." Fuck you, scam, now you can't. Right, well, yeah, 4 years I've been here, and I reckon, right, on my pyramid of things that Australia has that I am worried about crawling or flying into my mouth, COVID is way the fuck down the list. After snakes, spiders, and Carlton Draft. Yeah, Carlton Draft is the worst thing I've ever put in my body, right? It's given me hangovers I would only wish on Vladimir Putin. I don't know if you've been following that situation, right, but the other day, in like a weird display of power, FIFA banned Russia from all future football tournaments. If you were too evil for FIFA, you may want to have a look at yourself, mate. Pretty sure you've just won the biggest piece of shit on earth award. It's pretty incredible, right, because your insects are comically big. Right, like a blowfly came to my house the other day. I thought it was a fucking pigeon. Got a few mosquito bites. They took that much blood out of me. They left me a sticker and a biscuit. Sent a mate round half an hour later with a blanket asking if I'd be interested in donating again in 6 weeks. It's quite exciting. I do know I've got quite a strong accent, right? I reckon I'm like the Tom Hardy of comedy. Not because I'm like good looking or anything, just because for quite a lot of my performance you'll be watching me going, "What the fuck is he saying?" Despite my best intentions. It's good being here, you know, like we've had a rich history of back and forth trade, haven't we, you know, like the UK and Australia, you know, like in the 90s. You gave us Ian Thorpe, and then more recently, given us Chris Hemsworth and Rolf Harris. You know, so you gave us the Torpedo, then you gave us Thor and a pedo. That's about as good as joke writing gets people, you might as well get on board. It's good, right? I do love being out here. I went to Adelaide before coming here, right? Adelaide's fantastic. It's very much the iPhone 4 of Australian cities. It's an interesting place, isn't it? When people say it's a little bit behind Melbourne, they don't mean 30 minutes to the closer to 10 years, depending on where you go. It's good, isn't it? Like, they're quite interesting, aren't they? They're like, oh, yeah, very conservative with the city of churches, but also love a bit of meth. It's good, right? Went there, like, bumped into this, like, quite feral bloke. And he, like, locks eyes on me and he just goes, "You dog?" Now, I love dogs. So I just went, "What sort do you think I am?" Because I think I'm like a Great Dane Afghan cross. You know, because I'm like all limbs, but I'm like a massive loyal idiot. And he goes, "Nah, you're a dog can." Ah, are we just naming our two favourite things? You big pancake vagina? Two things I'm very hungry for. Yeah, big Saturday. It's good, isn't it? When I was there, I went to a winery. That was pretty cool. Went to a winery and the bloke goes, "Do you want to try something with saddle nuts?" I said, "No. I want a drink, not a passive-aggressive housemate." He goes, "All right. Here's where you try something with earth tones, like wood and leather and tobacco." I said, "No. Who would want to drink that?" I said, "I want a drink, not to smell the things I'll be aware of before I am murdered in a cabin." And I went to Higgs. That was pretty cool. I did the chocolate tasting. Don't know whether anyone's done that. It's like a fucking great thing to do, right? And I went there, and before the thing starts, she goes, "You're going to taste things that you've never experienced. And I'm going to level with you. It all tasted quite a lot like chocolate." I feel like if I was going to be tasting things that I've never experienced, it would be like, is that job security? Good shit. Is that a romantic relationship I feel comfortable in? Fucking hell, that's all right. Fucking hell, that's incredible. What the fuck is that? Is that praise from my father? It's good, right? It is amazing being out here, right? I came here for love, right? I came here to be with Brenna, my partner. She's amazing. Brenna, she's from Melbourne. She's about 6 foot. Incredible woman, right? One of the best things about that is we look like a normal-sized couple from fucking miles away. So we go on our quaint little Sir John's tour, these lovely little market towns like Beechworth and Dalesford, and all of the puny villagers are looking at us going, "Oh, look at that lovely couple on the horizon." And then we penetrate the city walls and we destroy the fuckers. It's good, right? Came here to be with her. Came here for love, and they say that you can't put a price on love, but the Australian government says about $7,000. Per order covering for the visa. How deep's your love, can? It's quite a lot of money, isn't it? You know what I mean? But first bloke I met when I landed was some immigration border patrol. Pulls me to one side and he goes, "You got any nuts and seeds in your bag? You got any nuts and seeds in your bag? Don't be messing with our delicate flora and fauna." I said, "Mate, Australia is about 90% uninhabitable. Why not let some foreign elements have a crack at it?" And then I was interrogated internally, which was eye-opening. Next person I met was after you fill that form out where it says, "Do you have any criminal convictions?" And I remember reading that thinking, is that still a requirement? And I got to him, right, and he goes, "You know you're on a tourist visa, right, mate?" I go, "Yeah, yeah." He goes, 3 months, a long time, what are you going to do? I go, "I'll probably read a bit, I'll watch a bit of YouTube, you know, there's loads of stuff on there, I'll struggle to finish it, I reckon." And he goes, "All right, where are you going to be staying?" And I said, "Oh, with my girlfriend's mother," which is true, and every bit the nightmare you'd imagine it to be. Fair play to him, he just looks me back and says, "Are you sure you don't want me to send you back?" What a fucking legend. It's good, I do love being out here. Right? I was talking about COVID. I had my booster the other week, right? It was pretty cool just before the festival started. Had this magnificent man do mine. He likes to open our interaction by going, "I'm going to be penetrating you today." It's like, buy a guy a drink first. It's quite exciting, right? He's got all of my information in front of him, but he just likes to flirt quizzically for 15 minutes. It's quite uplifting. "How old are you?" 37. "I wouldn't have you over 27. "You haven't had me yet, you dirty bitch." And then right before the magic moment, he leans in and goes, "You're about to feel a small prick." I went, "I'll be the judge of that, thank you very much." It's what you do with it that counts. Keep me COVID safe. It's cool, right? You've got some amazing phrases, right? I did the old dog cunt one before, it's a good one. My other favourite phrase is, "Who'd you go for? Who'd you go for? Who'd you go for?" I didn't know what that meant initially. I thought the person asking me that was asking me what my sexual preference was. So I just went, "Oh, well, you know, ladies mainly, but I know what I look like. I've got a soft face and slim hips, I can be overpowered." And the way that worked out is I now support Hawthorn. So you've got to be careful, right? It's good fun. He carried on, this bloke. He goes, "Who's in your fantasy footy team, mate? Who's in your fantasy footy team?" And I went, "Well, at full forward, I've got Gary Ablett Senior, half forward, Gary Ablett Junior, other forward position, I've got God, because then you've got the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the other forward positions, I've thought, who are the most forward men of the 21st century? So I've got Harvey Weinstein and Prince Andrew. And then for me defenders, I've got the UN and the British Empire." He goes, "That's not how it works, mate. It's not how it fucking works. You've got 18 to 30 players, all of whom have to play in the RFL, none of whom can be deities." I know, well, you've just taken all of the fantasy out of it there, mates. You've taken something that should have been lyrical and beautiful and fundamentally fantastic and reduced it to me populating a spreadsheet with a bunch of people who've got problems with drinking, racism and domestic violence. If I were to do that, I'd get a job at Centrelink. I'd punch him in the throat. It's good, right? It's lovely being here. Are you having a drink this evening? Yeah, good work, right? Where a lot of yous are at, I reckon, like 3 to 4 drinks in. That's my favourite bit in the drinking. Because that's when you start to make decisions that aren't really yours to make. 3 to 4 drinks in, you'll say stuff to yourself like, "You know what? I think I'll be all right without food. I'll just have a pint of Guinness, that'll sort me out. It's full of iron. It's basically a sports drink in Ireland where it's referred to as a boozy smoothie." You might be the responsible one in your group and put forward the idea of getting food, and your mates will shut it down with the words, "Eden's cheating. Eden's cheating, mate." It's not, is it? It's a night out. It's not Ramadan. You can have what you want. My favourite thing about Australia at the moment, I reckon, is, and yous are amazing, by the way, thank you for coming to our show on a Saturday, is that you've got adverts in your main news media. I think that's brilliant and beautiful. I was just at the traffic before I came out, and it just went, "There's been a pile-up on the Eastern Freeway, 3 cars back-to-back collision. And speaking of pancakes, get yourself down the pile-up for 25% off." So how deep does this rabbit hole go? Been a blazing house fire, family of 4 killed, and speaking of burning hot deals, get yourself down to Bunnings for 40% off barbecues and a sausage sizzle. It's cool, right? And I'll leave on this, right? Me and Brenna were about to make love the other day, and she's just looking up at me, and she just goes, "I want to feel you inside of me. Every millimetre." Don't use millimetres. You fucking cyborg. Go imperial every time. Inches, feet, yards, fathoms, miles and leagues if you want. Never go metric. There's no mystery in the metric system. That's part of its genius. Like, nobody really knows how big an inch is. That's why it's only really used to measure dicks. I'm 6'7". I know all about it. Ladies, gentlemen, however you identify, thank you ever so much for your time. Have a great night. Cheers.